So today I actually ran the HBF half marathon, and there were a few things that I really did not expect. I think I really overestimated the whole race and all that. And here are just my thoughts on it and maybe how I can improve a bit more. So let me just start from sharing a bit more about this journey. So firstly, let's just put it this way. I did complete the half marathon. So I'm pretty proud that I managed to finish it. But I don't think I really managed to get the most out of it. And, you know, we don't really rise the level of our expectation, but we actually fall to the level of our training. That's actually kind of like the Navy SEAL saying that I heard this morning while I was listening to a podcast by Alex Hormozy. So I do mention him a lot actually, and the reason is that I actually do enjoy listening to a lot of the things that he has to say, a lot of his thoughts and all that stuff. But just back to the running itself. So I really felt that I could have probably trained better for it. I was, again, really complacent. I thought that, you know what, it's just a half marathon. I'm someone who's done an Ironman before, so a half marathon shouldn't really be any issues, right? Wrong. It was an issue. And the issue was that I should have probably trained a bit better nutrition and all that stuff. So let's just start from the beginning. My day actually started off pretty well. My wife dropped me off at the train station, and then it was straight to the city. And then from the city itself, it was literally as you get out of the train station itself, I'm there. I was there already. So location-wise, very, very convenient. I loved it. And as we start the run, I was very positive about it because I was pretty sure that I would be able to get to where I need to be. And yeah, I was actually going at a pretty good pace. My aim was actually to hit 2 minutes 30 seconds. And if I were to get anywhere below 3 hours, I'd be stoked. But that was not really how I felt. So I was actually going pretty strong at a 7 minutes pace. And it was one of those things where, I was pretty confident. 5 kilometers in, I felt like, okay, I really got this. 10 kilometers in, a bit tired, but I was like, you know what? If I just keep going at this pace, I'll be fine. Now, after 14 kilometers, something happened. I actually started to feel a bit of pain, a bit of tightness, a bit of cramp, I would say, in my knees again. Like that's the place that I always get it. So it's not the knees itself. It's just like the muscles above the knees. That's where I usually would get the most cramp. And it usually starts on my right leg and then goes a bit to my left one. And when I started to feel it, I was like, okay, this is not good. I must admit, there was no nutrition that I did take before the race. And I think I was complacent because I've been running like 7 minutes per 7 kilometer per hour kind of pace. So that's like an 8:34 pace, I think. Yeah, for my trainings. And like 2 hours, bam, like I was going strong without even much water or much food or anything like that beforehand. So I thought I really got this, but I was so wrong. I was so wrong because I did realize that I think because my body had lack of nutrient, lack of salt, that's why it really started to cramp up. And so 14 kilometers in, it was pretty good. 15 kilometers, that was the struggle that I started to feel. And my pace actually did start to drop a bit, but it wasn't too bad. It was on the 16th kilometer that was my first 8-minute pace, I'm pretty sure. So 8 minutes per kilometer pace. And then suddenly it dropped even more to like 8:30 on the next one. And when I was running my 17th kilometer, it was a bit of like a run plus a walk in a way. And then after 17 kilometers, that's when it happened. I could not run. And it was because when I was running, there was just so much cramping happening in my legs. It was really bad. And so I had to walk it. And it was pretty shameful, I would say, to some extent, because I thought that like, all right, 17 kilometers in, I only have like 5.1 kilometers to go. Like it shouldn't, 17.31. Okay, so I only have 4.1 kilometers to go. So I was like, I should be able to tough it out, right? But no, because like when I started running, like the cramp got so bad that I literally had to stop. So I was like, it's either I do a fast walk or I would just eventually fall because of the cramping, and then I wouldn't really be able to stand up and all that. So I was being really tactical about it. When I thought to myself, I was like, okay, I have to be able to walk at least. And of course, it wasn't like a slow walk, it was like a fast-paced walk. So can you imagine that while I was walking itself, I was already feeling all of I was still feeling cramped, like it was cramped. But the good thing was that as I started to walk more and more and more, the cramp get less. And in my mind, I was like, okay, so let's be tactical about this. Maybe for the last kilometer, I can really try to do like a slow jog all the way to the finish line. But it didn't turn out that way. So hit 20 kilometers already, and I saw the sign. Oh wait, there was no 20 kilometer sign. The last time was 19 kilometers for some reason. I felt like they should have done a 20 kilometer sign somewhere, but it is what it is. So 20 kilometers in, because I saw on my watch that, okay, we are already 20 kilometers. So I started to jog, and then guess what? I'm not really sure if I'm gonna say this right, but my toe and the one just beside the toe, it was cramping up like this. Like I felt like so if this is the toe, this is the second one. I feel like I should know what it's called, but yeah. So it was like cramping up like this, like we're just like going in, and then the rest of the foot was straight. And I felt this cramp also just at the back of my feet, where just above the heel in a way. And I felt like, oh, this feels weird, and I had to stop again because the cramping on the knee started to go up, and then I was cramping there. And I'm like, this is a new place for my body to cramp, because I've never really cramped there before. So it felt really, really weird to me. So I was like, okay, this is quite embarrassing, because even on my last kilometer, I couldn't really run. So I had to just kind of like walk, just like fast walk it all the way. And then finally we got to the end area where the park is. So, but just to share before that, when I was walking, my pace wasn't too bad. Like initially it was like a 10-minute pace, and then it did drop to a 10:30 pace. So overall it was okay. And then as I started to turn around and I saw the finish line, that was when I started to do a slow jog. And thankfully, it was okay. Yeah, so I managed to get to the finish line, and then after the finish line, everything was fine. But here are just some of my thoughts and reflections around it. So firstly, nutrition. Nutrition is very important. I think I just took that a bit too lightly, because back in my prime days, I could barely go without, maybe as much like nutrients. But actually that's not really true, because I did have like a water, like a hydration pack with me. So maybe that's not super true. But anyway, nutrients is very important. Be it getting hydrolytes, salt pills, or even energy gel. So I think those three things is very important. And of course, I do have to train with those things. One thing in my mind, I was like, maybe I shouldn't really take all these gels or all this even the hydrolyte kind of like drinks with the electrolytes and whatnot, because on the day of the event, which is just now, they would serve a different electrolyte, and they did. I'm honestly not sure what it was. It was pretty sweet. It had this like sweet, peachy, maybe peachy taste. I felt it was okay, and again, it was just like whatever that they are gonna give, I'm just gonna take it anyway. So yeah, so nutrients very important. I should maybe at least have eat like a banana, maybe 1 or 2 bananas beforehand, and then while running, just run, but just keep on maybe taking some salt tablets every 5 kilometers. Like just like hindsight 2020, right? Like that's what I'm thinking now. And then of course, even while I'm training, I should probably have some electrolytes with me, so that my body get used to it when it's running, and then having those electrolytes also. And then at the end of it, and the other thing also, I think the training itself, I was doing like 2 main runs, I would say. So one on Monday and one on Saturday, but I think I probably have to run a bit more, because I did manage to do like long distance runs and all that, which is good for that aerobic base. But the issue was that I did not have, yeah, I did not have enough like speed work in a way. Like I have to inculcate speed work into my workouts also, because I realized that at some points, when going uphill and all that, I was really struggling a bit more. So although I was struggling, I managed to keep my pace still pretty constant, but it felt tough. It felt hard. So that's the reason why I guess they say you have to do some sort of a long run, which is on the weekends. I do a 2 hour run, but then I still do like some sort of a constant pace, kind of like 7 kilometer per hour. So it was like marathon speed running on Mondays, but that's just for like maybe for 7 kilometers. But I think the main thing is that my speed work, I should probably have done at least one session a week on speed work also. The other thing was that because prior to this, it was Ramadan, and then after that, I went back to Singapore. So I did not really train as much as I would like, I would have loved to. And honestly, it's just an excuse, yeah, because I was like out and about and I was doing all this, like everything, yeah. So I just felt that, maybe I could just do that, yeah, instead of, instead of training and whatnot. And then it did help when my asthma kicked in, when I was in Singapore and also when I was here. So it got pretty bad. And then, yeah, so again, I feel like all this are just excuses and I should definitely have trained much more beforehand. Yeah, so that's hindsight, right? So nutrition and training, those two are very, very important. And the last thing, so this was actually pretty interesting. I actually quit. I actually quit mentally after like 13 kilometers. It was quite surprising. I wasn't expecting to mentally quit, I would say. So for the next like 9 kilometers, I really had to run on willpower quite a bit, especially for the last 4 kilometers because I couldn't run at all. And it was really surprising to me because I would have thought that all those years of like, I mean, not really years, but all those like Ironman trainings, powerlifting training in the gym and all this thing would have made me mentally strong enough. But then again, this is the thing about it. Sometimes it does, yeah, technically it did make me strong enough, but also in a way, I felt that a part of me was just like, nah, this is too much. And it just shows me how human I am in a sense that no matter how tough we are, sometimes if your body feels that it wants to fail, it will fail. Yeah, and that's where you have to really think really tactically about it. Do you want to keep running, or do you want to stop, or do you want to go at a slower pace? So that was it. And also, one thing is that when I was at the 16th to 17th kilometer, running my 17th kilometer, I actually start to miss my wife because I've been actually running a lot of my previous runs with her, and this time not having her there, like I was really, really missing her a lot, like more than what I thought I would and what I want to admit in a way. Yeah, but yeah, I was just like thinking about if she was here, that it will be great, just to have the extra like support there with me. Yeah, because like I think again I was pretty complacent. I was like, look, I can definitely do it under 3 hours, which thankfully I did. And then it was like, okay, let's try to aim for 2:30, but of course I did not really reach that. But I was just like, it'd be nice to have my wife here with me. So I think that's kind of like humbling me down in a way also, to think that I don't think my wife was really slowing me down overall. It's just that like during our previous runs and all that, we probably just have to train much more in order for us to get the results. And the other thing I wanted to like just prove to myself is that I am currently at the heaviest in my life right now. And I just want to see if I can still do that half marathon. I would say yes, I did complete it, but the results, I'm not the most proud of it. Yeah, so that's something that I definitely want to work on a bit more. During the next half marathon, or whenever it's going to be when I do it, I definitely want to try to go below that 2:30 mark, and of course, I do have goals to kind of reach below the 2 hour mark. And the reason why I put all these different markers in a way, it's not really just to say it and not do anything about it, but also to have some plans surrounding it. Because when I'm gonna like run my next one, I definitely want to hit that 2:30 mark, because I want to prove to myself and that I still can do it, and that I still am willing to put in all the work and all the effort. Um, my weight is really an issue. Like I really feel that it's an issue, and I really have to drop it down. Running this half marathon, technically in a way, last I weighed before I ran was like 88.9. So, sorry, 80, 89.9, I think. It was just a bit below 90. And I would say that that's good because when I got back from Singapore, my weight was at like 93.7. And that was probably the heaviest I've been in my life. And, so I did lose about 4 kilos in order for me to run this marathon. And of course, like, after running and all that, I didn't really eat or drink that much. And then I stepped on the scale. I was like at 88.1. I was like really happy, but I know it's like water weight, So that's almost like 2 kg of like water weight just like being drained off me. Yeah. So I could definitely have done much better in terms of the nutrients and all that. Yeah. So that's a bit more about my reflections for this half marathon. I would say it was good, but could have done better. And just to prove it, here is my medal. So let me just focus on this. Yeah. So you guys can see it. HBF half marathon, yo. Yeah. So I'm actually pretty happy that I managed to get this. Yeah, so it's pretty good. There you go. A half marathon. Yeah. So let's focus it back on me. Yeah. So yes, managed to run, managed to finish it, and pretty happy with it. But I know I can do better. And I would just like to leave with a message where, there's something personal that I've been doing now, which is that spending time outdoors, it's great for like health, it's great for like personal body health and whatnot, fitness, but also it's good for your eyes. So if you do either you wear glasses or you don't wear glasses, it's always a good thing to spend time outdoors. And of course, if you can spend 2 hours outdoors every day, that's like the best way to like combat myopia, which is short-sightedness. But even if you don't have myopia or anything like that, as an optometrist, I feel that it's important for us to really have the balance of using things like screens, with all the gadgets that we have these days, and also to spend time outdoors just to relax, spend time with your friends, family, doing activities you love. You don't have to be running. Like, honestly, you can just be walking around and all that. And again, like just 2 hours every day. Sometimes, even for myself, I do find it to be like 2 hours outdoors, exactly outdoors. But even things that when you're commuting, you're spending time away from screens, you're looking further away. Like that main thing is to break that constant cycle of close-up work. So balance it out. Have times where you're outdoors and you look far away, and so that overall you just get healthy eyes. So just a bit of a message there about taking care of your eyes, while I also share with you about my marathon journey. And of course, if you guys do have any questions or just wish to reach out to me, you can just leave it in the comments down below. And thank you for listening to this particular episode. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.